And it is like so hot here, I actually had to change my shirt. it's absolutely horrible. Hey everyone, this is Thecos. Today I'm doing my solo playthrough of Twittens, the latest game by Paul Stapleton. That's the designer that also brought you Pauper's Ladder and like a few smaller tin games, for example, The Siege of Shadow's Horn. This is illustrated by Tristram Rossin. I actually don't know this name, so I would have to look that name because it's a very nice art style. I like it a lot. So this is a tiling game that has like the theme of building your own little like suburb, so to speak. So like Twittens is like an old Sussex word to describe like the little alleyways that run between houses and gardens and fields and stuff like that. And that's like what you will be building up here. This looks like a very, very cozy game, but boy, is it thinky. Really, really thinky. So looking forward to showing you that. All right, before we get started, as usual, grab yourself a cup of tea and let's do this. All right, there we go. All right, so what I will do, as usual, I will just quickly set up the game. And then I will like explain like roughly to you how it works, and the rest of the rules I will then explain as I do the playthrough. All right, and with that we can start the game. That concludes the setup. So let me just show you what you see here. Keep in mind this is like the setup for a solo game. In a multiplayer game, you will have a similar setup, but a little bit different. But I will not focus on that today. I will just show you how to play it solo. But if you want to play how it plays multiplayer, it pretty much like plays very similarly here. Just like both players take their turns, like doing what I do today. Okay, so what do you see here? Well, first of all, we see the Twittens deck here. These are like we'll all find all the tiles. These are like very thick cardboard. This is like very thin tiles of thick cardboard, like kind of in between, right? Of like all of the different tiles that we play here in order to build our little neighborhood. These are like, we have like the draw stack, and then we have the left and the right face up stacks right here. Then at the top left, at the beginning I could like draw 3 of those, choose one as my favorite tile, my favorite place. I'm placing that here. This is like one that I can place like sometime during the game if I want to, as one of my possible options of actions. And then I shuffle the other 2 back in and drew then 2 here for the 2 stacks. Then up here we have these 3 little critters here. I can also use those during my game. But if I use one of them, I just turn them over and then they are used, right? And I'm able to activate them at the end of the month again, but I will get to that at the end. Then here we have the Wanderer. Here are 9 cards that I prepared here. Usually there are 12 cards in there. You just remove 3 randomly, and this is like the Wanderer who like keeps taking tiles, but they don't really like hinder anything else, right? They just take tiles. But they will not hinder our progress. We will have to try to reach a specific number of points. Usually you would like take the tiles the Wanderer takes and put them in a row, but I haven't seen any reason to do that so far in my plays, so I just put them on one stack. I'll just put them up here. And then what we also have is like these bimble cards. I love the word. I didn't know that before, by the way. And I drew like 2 randomly, and these are also cards that I need to fulfill in order to get points. If I at any point during the game, if I reach those, if I like actually like reach what it like, if I fulfill what is set on here, I get these points at the end of the game. If I never reach them until the end of the game, then I will receive these as negative points. And then here on the right, I will just build out my neighborhood. What we also have is this. This is the Bimbler's Almanac. There actually is a scoring sheet for multiplayer as well. This is just for solo play. And it just starts pretty much here where it says like the Bimbler's Guide to Spring. And there are like these Bimble cards here that I can cross off when I completed them. I have already played the game and have completed Bimble cards, but I haven't like ticked them off yet, right? These were just like practice games. This is like the first proper game that I will also be logging here most likely. And then when you go over here, you see like that we have like the spring scoring table. So like an entire game of this, a solo game, entails going through all 4 seasons and through 3 months a season. So it's like 12 games pretty much. But you don't need to play them in one sitting. I will just play one of them today. I will just play Spring and March today to show how the game works. But then I would continue with April, then May, and then I would go over to summer here, and then to autumn or fall, and then to winter at the very end. Okay, and this is just like what I get points for, right? What we need to know at the moment is that we need to reach or exceed 35 points in order to clear March. So I will just leave that up here, just as a little reminder. How the game essentially works is we always choose either the left or the right tile here, and then we place it in our neighborhood here. If one of these stacks is empty, then we replenish it. Or we can alternatively draw 2 cards, 2 tiles from here, choose one to place, and put the other one on the left or right stack. Then it's the Wanderer's turn, then it's our turn again. And we continue that with that until one of us goes home for tea. Either the Wanderer, when the deck is empty, that means they just stop playing. We can also stop playing at any time. There are specific rules when we can stop playing, when we can't stop playing. So we always check if we have more houses than our house limit allows. There are these little houses here on these tiles, and our house limit is 7 at the beginning. We can raise it to 8 with a specific building that we can build. But if we have more than 7 houses, we need to go home for tea, so we need to end the round. Then if that's not the case, then we see if we are unable to place a tile. If we are, then we need to also go home for tea. And then we can go home for tea voluntarily if we want to, but we cannot do that if we haven't placed at least 5 tiles in our neighborhood here, or in our Twitten, of course, right? That probably makes more sense. And then the main thing is how do we get points? What are we aiming for? There are things that we get points for. Let me just put that here. So there are for houses, we get 1 point per house unless we exceed the limit of 7 or 8 later on. Trees want to be adjacent to one another. Adjacency is broken by roads and also by railroads and streets. Streetlights, we get 1 per streetlight if there are as many streetlights as there are tiles in our Twitten. Then for the roads, we get 5 points per tile with a road on them if they are at the end of our Twitten, somewhere on the outer edge. And then there are these stations. And if they are within walking distance of any critters, we get 3 points per symbol of these animals. Walking distance means that it's that we don't have to cross a road or a street or a railway or anything like that. We get playgrounds. You see one over here. This gives us 3 points per adjacent house. As a reminder, this is not an adjacent house because it's broken up by a road. Then we have allotments. We see one right here, actually. We get 3 points per adjacent tree. And then we have substations. They don't do anything regarding points, but they raise our house limit to 8. And then we have schools that these allow us to draw 2 bimble cards. We may keep one. Keep in mind, if we can't fulfill a bimble card, then we lose points. All right. So last but not least, our bimble cards here. These are the ones we drew. We have the direct path. We need 4 adjacent straight lines, like this one, for example, in a straight line. Then we get 6 points. And also we need a school. We don't have one here, but I set one aside here that can reach 3 dew ponds. These are these little lakes here. So yeah, this is what we need to do. And I think I will start with that immediately. I will actually take this tile here and place it just somewhere here in my Twitten, like this. And then that was already my turn. I will just take 1 tile here and place that right here, because we emptied one of these stacks, and now it's the Wanderer's turn. The Wanderer actually is very, very simple here. The Wanderer will either draw 2 tiles from the top of the deck and then keep one that has specific features, or it will just take the left or right one from the stack. Here it says draw 2 tiles from the top of the deck, and then we choose the tile with an amenity. There are none with an amenity, so we go down the list. The fewest trees, this one here, right? So this one with the fewest trees goes here into the stack for the Wanderer. Doesn't do anything except that he just takes them. And this one is then put on the right stack, it says. So right here. This simulates another player taking tiles and stuff, right? Okay, so it's our turn again. We need 4 straight lines, and we need a school that can reach dew ponds. So I think it's clever now to do our third type of action. So either, as you remember, either we take one of these 2 tiles, or we take 2 tiles here, choose one, put the other one on top of these 2 stacks, or we take our favorite place. So we put a tile at the beginning, and I will do that. I will put that right here. Like this, I think. So we already have 3 houses. That's a lot. We need to like be careful now. But we have 2 straight lines already, and we have a school that can reach 1 dew pond. So we need 2 more dew ponds here. And also we need 2 more straight lines. Let's see if we can find any. Maybe our opponent will actually help us with that. Another thing we need to know, you always need to connect these alleyways here, right? So the thing is, I'm not able, for example, this one here, I'm not able to put this one right here. I always need to connect it with one of these roads here, with these alleyways. I can like always rotate it as well if I want to, and all of the edges need to like match. I would, for example, not be able to like put like anything like over here and then put a tile here that doesn't have a road at the top, right? Like the roads or the alleyways always need to match. Okay, the Wanderer's turn. The Wanderer will just take the top tile from the left stack. We put it right here, and then we replenish it with a new one. Oh, that's not a perfect one, but it's decent because it's another straight line. So I think I will actually take this. I will take this straight line, and I will put it. But there's already 4 houses. We need to be a little bit careful here. Is there any reason to turn it another way? I don't think so. No, not at the moment. So I think, but I will keep like building down here. I think. Yeah, maybe let me put it here. Maybe that makes sense. We replenish the left stack, and then it's again the Wanderer's turn. They will draw 2 tiles from the top of the deck, and then they will choose a tile with emote wildlife. This one has a newt. This one has a bird. So 1 wildlife each. So it's a tie. So we go to the next one. A transport link. Transport links would be roads and railways. Nothing here. So we go to the next one. A dew pond. Both have 1 dew pond. Okay. And the last one would be the fewest houses. This one has 1 house. This 0. So it will take this with the 0 houses. And this one on the right stack. Like this. Okay. So let's see. I will take this one here. Because then I can put this here at the very end. But will I put it a different way? No, I think I will leave it like this for now, I guess. So this is a station here. The station, oh no, wait, I need to actually turn it around like this. So the station will give us 3 points for each animal we can reach by foot. And by foot means not crossing any roads or rails or streets. And as you can see, we can like walk through this neighborhood here, and there is actually 1 animal. That would be 3 points. This one here doesn't work because it's like across a railway. And also these don't work. Only this one over there. But maybe we can extend that at some point. And now we have 4. We have like a straight of 4 here, and that is exactly what the direct path wants us to do. 4 adjacent straight tiles in a straight line. We have them, so that means we get 6 points. What we do as a reminder is we will just put this here on our little almanac. So we just remember to score that later on. Okay, that's great. Now we just need 2 dew ponds on the side here for the school. But I think we will be able to do that. There are 2 already here, so we should be able to do that. All right, the Wanderer draws 2 tiles from the top of the Twittens deck. Okay, and the one with the transport link they will keep. There is no transport link. Amenity, no amenities. The most scrubs. There is a scrub over here. That's like the yellowish thing here. So they will keep this. And this one will go on top of the left stack. Like this. And it is like so hot here, I actually had to change my shirt. it's absolutely horrible. But you see what I do for you here. All right, so let's see. It's now my turn again. We need these dew ponds here, right? So I will take one of those. How many houses do we then have? 2, 4, 5. We need to be careful. But this one is fine. I will just build it like this here. So you see, like the dew pond is here. We can still reach it like from the school here via foot, so to speak. So we are fine. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I forgot something. I drew the school earlier on. I put this here, and as soon as you put the school here, you draw 2 bimble cards and may keep 1. So of course I don't know like what I have here. I wouldn't know that at that point, but okay. So we need 3 houses, each adjacent to a tree. That's kind of hard to do because I only saw this here, right? I only have these 2 houses. That would be kind of hard to do. 2 adjacent bends. That is much more easy to do. So I think I would have taken that. 2 adjacent bends, I think I can do that. And this one I will just, you just shuffle these back into the bimble deck here. Like this. Okay, so now it's the Wanderer's turn. The Wanderer will choose the top tile from the right stack and put it right here. Alright, so we don't have any dew pawns here, and I need one. But I also need like bends. So what I will do, I will like draw 2 here. 1, 2. Oh, this is perfect. Perfect, I will take this one. So what happens when you draw from the stack? You keep 1. So I will just take this one and put it here. And this one I will just put on any of these stacks. It doesn't really matter. Let me check. Actually, 1, 2, 3. Actually, it might make sense to have the one with the animal on top for sure. This one adjacent to trees. I could also work with that, I think. So let me put this one right here and hope I can keep one of those 2. So now you see we have 2 adjacent bends in any direction. So we also got that one. And then here, a school, they can reach 3 dew pawns. 1, 2, 3. Wonderful. We also we also cleared that one. So 3 spring, all our bimbles are done actually. And now we can just optimize like getting points for like other things. Let's see. But it's the Wanderer's turn first. And then we'll take the top right, the right one. That is really good because now we can keep that animal. Why do I want to keep that? Well, remember, we do have the station here. And with the station, we want to reach like animals, right? We only have 1 so far. So I'm going to take this one here. It's a little bit, yeah, I didn't know that I would be building like only horizontally here. But I mean, that's like what the bimble card told us. So let me go a little bit more to the left. You don't need to see the stack here for the opponent. Let me just put the discard pile up here. Oops. And then like this. Okay, but actually I don't really want to take this one. Essentially, you want to have less houses, right? Otherwise, if I take this one, then I have 8 houses, and this is pretty bad, right? We want to have 7 maximum for scoring. So I'm going to take this one instead, and I'm going to place it like this. So we can still reach this here from the station, but we don't have like too many houses. Then we just put that one here, replenish that one. So and now, what I will now do, now I can decide to go home if I want to, like go home for tea. And I will do that because in a solo game, you just end the game now. So the game is ended and I can now score my points. In a multiplayer game, it would be a little bit different. If I go home for tea, then I'm out, but the opponents can still go. But since it is getting late and a little bit dark thematically, they will not be able to like take cards in a way like they did before, like tiles. So these like open stacks here would be gone, and they could only like draw from the top of the deck, things like that. So you're kind of limiting your opponent when you like end a little bit earlier. I have to end now because 2, 4, 6, I have 7 houses. 1 more house and I would be out. I could also risk it and continue and get a few more points, but I think I will just leave it. I will just be safe. Just a few more things that I like. Just one more thing I want to show you before we start scoring points, because you see here. These are like abilities that I can use. I can like call for help for these critters here, for the fox, bird, and the newt, and they actually like let us like do things. This one lets us discard like any amounts of incompleted bimble cards and draw new ones. As many here, I can draw 4 tiles and choose 1 to add to my Twittens instead of just 2. And here, after drawing 2 tiles from the Twittens deck, I can add them to the stacks or discard pile, and then draw another 2 tiles. So I can like redraw. That is like quite helpful. I could also do that now to show you, but I think I will just leave it like this. I think I'm quite happy with this. Okay, so now we will score points. Because when we go home for tea, we end the game. The Wanderer can also go home for tea. That happens when they deplete their deck. And then I can continue playing, but like just drawing from the top of the deck, like I just explained to you. But okay, then I would say let's count up all the points. Essentially, it's like this. We just put the scoring pad here, We have like our bimble cards that we need, like this. And then if you don't quite remember like what you get points for, you can always put like this player 8 beside it, so it makes it a little bit easier. All right, so let's start. So we get points for houses, 1 point per house, unless we exceeded the limit of 7. We haven't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 exactly. So we get 7 points here in March. For trees, we get for the largest adjacent group, we only have these 2 here, I think. Yeah, that's just 2 points, 1 point each. Then the lanterns, I haven't actually like paid attention to those. I think I have way too many. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lanterns, but only 7 tiles. If they were the same number, I would also get 1 point per lantern, so I get 0 here, unfortunately. We get 1 point for each road at the end of our Twittens. We don't have any, like this. Then we have the station now. With the station, we can reach 1, 2 animals, so we get 3 points each. That is 6 points here. Then for the playground, we get 3 points per adjacent house. That's 1. That's 3 points here. And then we also have allotments. We don't have any. So we have 0 points here. And now our bimble cards, we have 5, 11, 19 points. So we just put 19 right. So it's like 19 minus 0 because we don't get any negative points, which is 19 points. Now we count all of that up. That is 19, 22, 28, 30, 37 points. So you see, I reached the threshold of 35 points, and that means now I ended March. What I would now do, I would take a look at all the animals that I have in my Twittens, and now for like 3 of the same kind, I could activate that kind of animal, or for 4 of any kind, I could activate any animal. So if I had like I have 3 foxes here, so I could have used my fox and now reactivated it, for example. Or if I had used my birds, I could use 4 of any, in order to reactivate the bird again, but I haven't used them, so that's fine. So now we will go to April. Going to April means we do exactly the same thing. We like put everything together, we shuffle everything up, and we just start a completely new game. But now we need to reach 45 points, and we need to draw 3 bimble cards for April. And then we need to reach 45 points. And then we do the same thing with 4 bimble cards, reaching 55 points in May. And then when we're done with May, we would then go over to summer. Come on. To summer here. No, wait, that's autumn. But it doesn't matter. We would go to summer, and then we would like need more points, more bimble cards. And same thing for autumn and for winter. But there's one change. Like whenever you go to summer, autumn, or winter, in those seasons, you also need to play with the detours. So, well, there's loads more stuff in the box. Actually, we only have like half of what's in the box in here. So, because there's like the scoring pad for the multiplayer game, by the way, double-sided, like loads of games you can play, really good. The most important component, but also. Also, you may have seen it in the unboxing, but there is like loads more stuff here on the right that we haven't used. These are all for the detours. Like we have byways here, we have like these tiles, and also like that camper. And also there are like a few more, I think 4 more tiles and 4 more cards at the very bottom. These are all for the detours. Let me just get those because we have the detours here, and these are expansions. That just means that you're able to have like specific components which you can expand the game with. These are not mandatory, of course, but they are mandatory if you play a solo game in like summer, autumn, and winter, because then you need to use specific detours and like change up your game a little bit. Very interesting, and these like usually make your game a little bit easier or like give you more options to score points, which is pretty cool. So what we would also do now is we would now look at all the bimbles that we completed, and that is the direct path over here. Then we have the school pond, which is over here, and we have wobbly walk over here. So you see, like there are like loads of things you can do here, right? So you have these achievements here, then you play through all these different seasons. Each season has like 3 games, so you play 12 games to have like play through the entire year, and then you can start again, and then you can like start collecting these achievements. So there's like loads of replay value playing this. I usually don't like writing on these sheets, but this one really makes a lot of sense. Also, there are like different modes you can play, and also there is like a way, I think here, yeah. Over here, you can save your progress with pencil, of course. Here you can like see like which many tokens you will have when you resume the season, in case you use these tokens, these detour tokens, right, that I showed you, or if you like which wildlife tokens you have. I will not mark anything now because I have all the wildlife tokens, but when I'm like missing one for like specific game that I couldn't reactivate, then I could mark that here. That's pretty much like this game. So this should like have given you a small glimpse into the game, but to be honest, there's like much more to explore here, because you have like all of these different expansions. You can play it multiplayer, solo. You have like these different seasons. There are so many bimble cards. Look at those. These are just for spring. How many there are? Just for spring, right? And then you have like the same number for summer and fall and for winter. It's pretty incredible. This is really, really cool. I like this game a lot. I haven't played it very often yet, but I can already like say I think this will stay in my collection for quite a while. And because I like the game that much, I have decided to award it my silver Sir Thecos Ace of Games award. This is a really lovely tile laying game. I like how it turns this really gentle idea of like wandering through a little neighborhood path into an actual puzzle with different seasons, changing goals, and despite its charming and cozy vibe, into a very thinky puzzle full of tension to keep all your decisions interesting. For me, this is a very strong Silver Ace of Games award. I don't think it quite reaches the level of my absolute favorite tile laying games, such as Cascadia, but it is clever, charming, easy to enjoy, and much more thoughtful than it may look at first glance. So this is a very, very solid game. If you liked what you saw here today, I would highly suggest you seek out this game, because this has really surprised me. There are so many tile laying games out on the market, so many new ones are released every year, and still I think this one stands out quite a bit. It doesn't do a whole lot different regarding like the pure tile laying mechanism, but like the idea of having this almanac when you play solo, this going home for tea thing that you don't want to like overextend regarding like the houses, that you have like these bimble cards, and then you have like different ways of drawing cards, similar to what you have in sea salt and paper. I think this makes for a really, really solid tile laying game. I really enjoyed my time with it. Alright, and that concludes my first solo playthrough of Twittens. Of course, I will have to continue, because to continue an entire playthrough is like 12 of these short games. Thank you so much for watching, for staying to the very end. I really hope you enjoyed this video. As usual, I would like to thank you all for your support. Especially I want to give a shout out to my generous patrons. The biggest thanks go to Thecos for supporting me at the highest tier. Thank you so much for that. I truly appreciate that. You can also support me by watching, liking, and commenting on my videos, subscribing to my channel, support me on Patreon, and join my Discord server to hang out with me and my amazing community. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the very next video on my Discord server. Take care, everyone. Stay safe, and cheers.